Okay,
Hold on a second, Frank. Let me get you started.
let me know when it's streaming.
Yep. Give me 1 second. It's starting the stream, and then I have to start the record. So, okay, Frank, you are good to go.
Okay, good evening. Welcome to the Township of Hillsborough Board of Adjustment public meeting for Wednesday, February 3rd, 2021, which is being conducted virtually. Please join me for this Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Glasses on here. This meeting will be conducted virtually. All board member, consultants, and staff will be participating remotely. The public will be given an opportunity to participate remotely through the advertised Zoom link or optional phone numbers identified in the public meeting notice. The public should use the raise hand feature in Zoom or *9 if participating by telephone to indicate that you would like to be recognized to speak. Application documents were made available for inspection at the Township's civic clerk website at least 10 calendar days prior to the scheduled meeting date in accordance with the meeting notice. All board members, staff, and consultants will be participating remotely. Applicants and their professionals will be presenting remotely and will identify themselves before testifying. This meeting has been duly advertised according to Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, the Public Law 1975, which is called the Sunshine Law. Notice of the 2021 annual meeting schedule has been provided to the officially designated newspapers, the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board at the Township Municipal Complex, and posted it on the Township's website. Additional notice has been provided to communicate that this meeting is being conducted according to the governor's executive orders and pursuant to Public Law 2020 C11, which allows the meetings to be conducted electronically, and pursuant to the local finance notices recently established in the state of New Jersey. Mike, would you call the roll of the members and professionals, please?
So we have absent is Ms. Salili and Mr. Sirachi. Ms. Comfer?
Here.
Mr. Vincher?
Here.
Mr. Woolmacher?
He's muted.
Jim, you're muted.
Yeah,
There you
trying to
go.
unmute. I'm here.
You got it.
Mr. Valchek?
Here.
Mr. Stamler?
Here.
Ms. Vice Chair Haynes?
Here.
And Chair Herbert?
Here.
And Mr. Kindler?
Here.
Mr. Gorman? Ready to go.
Present.
Mr. Euro?
Here.
And Mr. Anderson?
I'm here.
Okay, we're getting feedback from somebody. I don't know if, I think it may be you, Chicky. You have something going in the background?
No, that's not me.
Okay. Did you get the professionals with the mic? I'm sorry.
I did.
Okay, good. Okay, consideration of resolutions. We have 3 resolutions tonight. The first one is Jason Scott and Daniel Scott, file BA 2007. Board discussion.
Move to approve.
Okay. Second,
Second.
Mike, could you take the roll, please? And who's eligible to vote for this one?
I have Mr. Vincher, Mr. Woolmacher, Mr. Valchek, Mr. Stamler, Vice Chair Haynes, and Chair Herbert.
Okay.
Mr. Vincher?
Yes.
Mr. Woolmacher?
Yes.
Mr. Valchek?
Yes.
Mr. Stamler?
Yes.
Vice Chair Haynes?
Yes.
And Chair Herbert.
Yes. The second resolution to be approved is Jitendra and Rocky Kothari, file BA 2010. Board discussion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second.
Okay, Mike, roll call, please. And who's eligible to vote again on this one?
The same group on this one.
Okay.
Mr. Vincher?
Yes.
Mr. Woolmacher?
Yes.
Mr. Valchek?
Yes.
Mr. Stamler?
Yes.
Vice Chair Haynes?
Yes.
Chair Herbert.
Yes. And the last resolution is Robert Wagner Jr. file BA 20-12. Those eligible to vote on this one?
Move to approve.
Second.
And I have Mr. Walmacher, Mr. Valchek, Mr. Stamler, Vice Chair Haynes, and Chair Herbert. So Mr. Walmacher,
Yes.
Mr. Valchek,
Yes.
Mr. Stamler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Haynes,
Yes.
Chair Herbert.
Yes. Next is Board of Adjustment business. Do we have any board business tonight? Okay, hearing none. Next, we have business from the floor for matters not on the agenda. So I'll ask Fred to open the public line. If there's anybody in the public that has something to tell the board that's not on the agenda tonight, this is the time to do it.
Okay, anybody from the public to have a matter not on the agenda, you can please raise your hand. If you're called on, please state your name and address. Spell your last name for the record, please. Again, this is for matters not on the agenda. I see none, Chairman. You can proceed, please.
Okay. On to the public hearing. The first application is New Center LLC file BA 2011. Patrick?
Patrick, you gotta unmute.
Thank you for
There
the
you go.
reminder. Okay, so News Center LLC, file number BA 20-11. The application is located at Block 148, Lot 25, which is a vacant lot at the corner of New Center Road and South Branch Road. Applicant was seeking bulk variances for relief from minimum lot size, minimum front yard setback, and minimum setback and minimum lot width. To construct a single-family home with a deck and a property in the RS residential suburban zone. The applicant is here tonight requesting to be adjourned to a future meeting. I believe the attorney for the applicant is participating tonight on behalf of the applicant. I give it to the board.
The audio is not working again.
Mr. Bagnara, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, he's there, Frank. I just think he was waiting on you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, Angelo Bagnara for New Center LLC. We are requesting an adjournment for the to get out the notices. We're not sent out for the meeting, and so there was some mix-up. So I apologize for that. And but we will make sure if we get on the next docket, we can get it on, get the notices out as required.
Well, what do we have?
So March 3rd, we tentatively scheduled the harvester's application. March 17th was a backup date in case we didn't finish up harvesters. April 7th is now open. May 5th is open. The time of decision for this application is March 15, 2021. So if we go anything beyond March 3rd, anything beyond March 3rd will require a extension. In the pipeline, we have harvesters, of course, coming up. We have 3 new applications that have come in that need to be deemed complete. And we have 2 incomplete applications at the moment.
Do we know that harvesters is ready for March 3rd?
Frank, right now, we said March 3rd and 17th. Let's just go for April 7th. That's our next open.
I agree, John.
We already have it scheduled. So
Okay.
the first opening we have is April 7th, so let's book it.
Let's get an extension.
Is there any way to March 3rd? Any way we get in that date?
No,
No,
not with harvester.
We don't have
we
any,
already have that predetermined, March 3rd and 17th. So
so just for the board's consideration, we don't have any plans yet for the harvester's application.
Yeah, but Patrick, we told them the 3rd, and if they do come in, it's going to take up 1 or 2 meetings.
It's just for your information.
that's okay. Let's go for the 7th.
Okay, April 7th.
Thank you.
We
As
can't
Mr.
operate on,
Gorman-
we can't have a moving target on the scheduling.
Now, let me ask you this, okay, just, let's say Harvesters is not ready, and they tell us in time, can we slide this applicant in case Harvesters is not ready to go?
They would have to notice.
The notice anyway.
They have to notice anyway.
I mean, we can give them about, what, we have to have harvester plans in what, within 2 weeks or 1 week, actually, Pat?
Probably within the next week or 10 days.
Well, that would give these, now look, I mean, they forgot the notice, new center. It's not the board's
We'll
fault.
certainly work within those days if we can. If we wait a week and then you give us the notice, I can certainly get it in time.
Let's schedule April 7th, and if Harvesters doesn't come in, can we just slot him in then, right? He has to be
Yeah.
noticed anyway.
Yeah, we could try to do it, yeah.
We
Okay,
should
so
be
the
able-
dates are, so Harvester has to have information into us by what date?
He just said 10 days. A week or so.
they need to have plans before us, before noticing.
And that would be, what date are we talking about, Patrick?
But today's the 3rd. I'm looking at a calendar real quick.
What's the, hey, Frank, what's the debate here, right? We scheduled for April 7th. If Harvester doesn't come in with the paperwork, then we can fit this application in, right?
Right, but we have to give their attorney
We're going to need it by the 10th.
from Harvester. So if they're not in by the 10th, then we could tell Mr. Bagnara that we can reschedule, yeah, we could put him for March 3rd then, right?
Yeah, we can work something out.
Yep, okay. So April 7th, and the backup is either the 3rd or 17th, right?
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
okay.
Appreciate it.
As Mr. Gorman has indicated earlier, an extension will be necessary on this. I believe Mr. Gorman indicated if it were heard on March 3rd, it would not, but
Correct.
the scheduled date is April. So, Mr. Gorman, what's your suggestion on an extension?
We can work on it in office and do it. I mean, they can sign one anyway if they feel like they need to at the moment. That get them out to, April 15th or so. So that
Well,
we
Yeah, well, since we're on the record here, I'd like to see a commitment on an extension so we don't have questions about it in the background. April 15th, your suggestion, Mr. Gorman?
correct.
Mr. Bagnara, any problem with signing an extension through April 15th?
Absolutely not. Thank you.
All right, so on the record, Mr. Bagnara has indicated he will sign that. Of course, it needs to be signed and set in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Okay, the next application is carried over from the last meeting. The Vlasov family, file BA 20-06. Patrick, would you reintroduce that, please?
Next application for this evening, Vasala, file number BA 20-06. Located at block 171, lot 78, also known as 446 Long Hill Road. The applicant is seeking relief from conditions of the resolution number BA 03-21 and C bulk variances for relief for an existing, to retain an existing paved driveway, construct an in-ground pool with a surrounding walkway, a 800 square foot deck, and a 292 square foot walkway, and relocate an existing shed on the property while also moving a fenced area that's off the property. Property is located in the MZ Mountain Zone Conservation District. The application is being continued from our January 20th meeting without further notice.
Hey, Mr. Ogrodnik.
Good evening, members of the board. Mike Ogrodnik, Savo, Gillespie, Ogrodnik, and Fisher on behalf of the applicant. So we were, last month, we had provided some introductory testimony from our engineer as well as our planning testimony from Art Bernard. We again have Mike Ford from Van Cleef's Engineering Associates Office to present some of the changes that we made. If you recall, there was a question raised by the board regarding what was the reasoning for the concerns about the pool, as well as for the impervious. And the board asked Patrick to kind of dig into the archives, and he did so. And what we found was a Board of Adjustment meeting minutes from October 22nd, 2003. And it goes over what was originally the Bershnick application under application BA 03-21. And it provided a good amount of insight as to the board's reasoning for approving this application. As you recall, there was a double wide trailer with an addition and associated improvements and accessory structures on this pre-existing non-conforming lot. There's also talks about the minutes talk about the septic system as well as the well. And Jim Mance testified as the professional engineer, and they also had John Bryant, who was a New Jersey licensed well pump installer. And interestingly, at this hearing is similar to tonight's hearing, where it was a series of homeowners seeking approvals for essentially pools and other types of impervious variances. And what's notable about the minutes is some of the conditions that Mr. Dietz as chairman imposed and the board imposed. And here were the conditions of the approval. There was a right-of-way dedication of 25 feet to Long Hill Road. There was a dwelling restriction to 3 bedrooms. There was the driveway restriction for 20 foot of concrete and then stone. There's a deed restriction for an irrigation system. And of note, I'm going to quote this: well, not to be used to fill any future swimming pool, to be recorded in deed, close quote. Which is notable because the resolution that was adopted ultimately at paragraph 2 require or indicated that there would be no pool. I'm sorry, condition 1F. So I'm not sure if that was an error, or if that was just similar to the other resolutions that were approved that evening. But I would conclude that the language that well not to be used to fill any future swimming pool certainly doesn't prohibit a swimming pool. So in any event, we're asking for the variance for the driveway that was paved prior to our ownership, as well as the swimming pool, in addition to the variances necessitated by the pre-existing nonconformities. With me tonight, I have Mike Ford. What we had done was we met with our professionals. I do have Art Bernard, our planner, here available if any testimony is needed, but I don't think we need to go over the planning testimony. I did renotice just out of an abundance of caution. So what we asked Mike Ford to do was look at some areas that we could perhaps trim some impervious off of the project. So I would ask that Mike Ford, who's previously qualified as an expert and has previously sworn in, go over some changes that we proposed to this swimming pool addition.
Mike, are you there? He's muted right now. There you go, Mr. Ford.
I'm here.
There we go.
Hi, sir.
Mr. Ford, you acknowledge that you're still under oath in this matter?
Yes, I do. Okay. Just briefly, 2 items we talked about at the last hearing. One was, if there were opportunities to reduce some of the proposed impervious coverage. And what I'll offer for the board's consideration is that since the deck and the pool are not, counted as impervious coverage, the one opportunity that's a proposed condition where there would be some, it isn't built yet, where there could be some reduction, would be the surround around the pool. That is the patio and walkway around the pool. And at the rear and south side of the pool, we identify a walkway width of 6 feet and 5 feet. And after discussion with the applicant, we could reduce the width of those two walkways. So there still would be a walkway around the pool, but a width to 3 feet, which would drop the total impervious coverage to 6,096 square feet. And this is the existing condition is 5,333. So that would bring the 6,096 square feet would drop the total percentage of pervious coverage from 13.4 to 12.9. So it would bring us under 13%. So that's one. And then the second discussion item at the last hearing was the existing shed, which is 140 square feet. That only accounts for 0.3% impervious coverage on the site. And there was some suggestions about relocating that onto the driveway. After some discussion with the applicant, their preference would be not to do that. That would, right now, you're on Long Hill Road. That's a narrow section of road. There really is no on-street parking. So the only opportunities for parking at the site are either within the existing attached garage or in that driveway. And then the side entry driveway offers an opportunity for maneuvering cars in and out of the garage. So putting a shed on that location would interfere with those two elements.
Hey, Mike, it's John Stemler. No, I agree with you. I was the one that made that suggestion. And again, after last meeting where we agreed to adjourn, because Mark brought up, you know, a good suggestion that there were some things that we didn't know about that land, especially with the pool water and the pool, and also that land is surrounded by 80% preserved land. But I went to inspect that property, and no, I take that back. The shed is fine where it is. I think the original application was fine, footage wise. And where the pool was, I said, no. Once I took a look, I said, no, the shed is fine. So I wouldn't even suggest doing that.
And Mike, I'll jump in. I agree with John about the shed. It's fine where it is. I applaud the applicant for reducing it down to the 12.9%, and I would support that.
Let me chime in about the shed real quick. Is it meeting the setback requirements for the front yard, which is supposed to be 100 feet?
Yeah, the location for the shed I'm referring to that Mr. Gorman's pointing out is we submitted a revised plan relocating the shed so that it meets the front yard setback requirement for an accessory structure. And that is still our proposal, Mr. Gorman. And, you know, if we put it in front of that front yard setback, that would require another variance, which we didn't notice for, nor have we requested.
Okay,
So
thanks for clarification.
Thank you.
Yeah, and one other thing, just with all the new information that we have, well, first of all, I want to thank Susan Gulliford, number one, for finding out about the pool and the pool water, the contradiction between that, the minutes and the resolution. So thank you, Susan. And she contacted Chicky, and Chicky moved forward with it. So for the two of them, they really brought some light to this application. And honestly, I know you guys did good by, you know, decreasing it to 12.9%, but the original application, and Frank and Mark, you know, I'm happy with the original application at 13.4%. I mean, can we proceed with just the original 13.4?
That's the board's pleasure. We thank you for that suggestion.
Because I went out there and inspected that lot, and it's a good lot, and I'm telling you, it's way out there, and I don't see any issues.
John, I'll disagree to the extent that I appreciate it when an applicant is willing to compromise on their numbers. They apparently can live with these, slightly reduced patio and walkway numbers. And I think that shows an effort to compromise. And I think with other applicants coming in with similar situations, I always like to see a compromise number.
Anybody else on the board have their opinion?
I do.
Well, I think before the board gets into discussion, I think that we ought to see whether the application is complete.
If I can just chime in real quick. So if the board was to consider this application for approval, there is the issue that was in the past resolution about not having a in-ground pool. Whereas it was discussed during the minutes that, as Mr. O'Brien pointed out, that it had to do with filling a pool using the well water. So I'm trying to think of how that would be resolved at this point.
The resolution would be.
I think we're still a little bit ahead of ourselves. I mean, I don't know if the application is complete, and we're now talking about.
I'm not considering that this application is complete or not complete. There's a discussion on hand about whether to give relief for an approval or not. What we need to look into more at this point is if there was going to be a relief, what is actually being relieved at this point.
Well, Patrick, let's hear the rest of the presentation. And then
It's your presentation. Feel free.
Yep. I can sum it up quick and perhaps address Mr. Gorman's statement. Part of our application is requesting relief of that prior resolution of approval. So I think I would leave it to Mr. Henderson and Mr. Ogrodnik, but I think because the resolution specifically states that it's not permitted, although that might be inconsistent with the minutes, I think for the abundance of caution, our request as presented at the last meeting would stand, and that would be to ask for the relief of that prior condition and the plan as proposed. And the only two items we wanted to address the board this evening were that impervious coverage and the location of said shed. So I believe that concludes our testimony, and I'd leave it to Mr. Ogrodnik.
So we do have the applicant. I want to give her an opportunity if she wants to make any presentation, but
Mike, before you do that, I think we need to open the public just to raise any questions with Mike, since he gave more testimony. So
Sure.
Fred, with you.
Mr. Chairman, if board members don't have questions, Mr. Ford, I do have one.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mark.
All right, the chairman seems to have disappeared, but in any way, Mr. Ford, would the applicant object to a condition that the pool not be filled from the well, that being my understanding of what was intended originally by the Board of Adjustment?
Yes, and as I recall at the last hearing, we stated just that. That's correct.
Okay,
yes, sir.
I just wanted to make sure we had clarity on that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you, Frank. You just didn't tell Mr. Anderson to continue. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Okay, well, so wait, anybody else have questions, Mike, before we open it to public questioning?
So just so I'm clear, what is the location then? I want to make sure I'm looking at the right site plan. Where is the shed proposed? To the looking at the drawing to the right of the driveway?
It would be just beyond the end of the driveway. There's a walkway leading from the driveway to the rear yard, and where it makes a hard 90-degree turn to the left, the shed would be located in that location, and that's beyond the 100-foot setback from the road.
Understood. Thank you.
You're
So it
welcome.
would be in compliance, right, Mike?
Yes.
Any more questions? So open public, any questions from the public for this, for Mike?
Okay, any questions for this witness or on this application?
Yeah, it's like, you get so upset. But then you're
I see none, Chairman, so I think you can proceed, Mr. O'Gronic.
So I just, as I said, I just wanted to give my client an opportunity. The Volosovs have been very patient and have worked with us and taken our advice on trying to work with the board. So Dr. Volosov, I should say Doctors Volosov, they're both doctors. Mr. Volosov's a surgeon, and Rochelle Volosov is our witness. So I wanted to give her an opportunity to just say any closing remarks with respect to this application.
Go ahead.
How's it going, Ms. Volosov? I just want to swear you in. Looks like you're ahead of me. Do you swear any testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And for the record, could you state and spell your name, please?
Yes, it's Rochelle Volosov, Rochelle. Last name is Volosov.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to first thank all of you for taking the time last time and this time to, listen to our application. I know you have a lot going on, and, I really do appreciate all the time that you've given us. And, we're first time homeowners. This is last time homeowners too. And we moved to Hillsborough and we love this town and we fell in love with this home. And we didn't know about all these restrictions on our land. And that was our fault, right? Because we were first time home buyers and we made mistakes. But I did walk into this home and I envisioned everything that I wanted to do with my kids and hopefully my grandkids one day, and when I was young, my dad died when I was really young and he swam, right? And then the one thing that I remember growing up that connected me with him is I swam. And now I have a 4-year-old who I was pregnant with when we bought this home, and we call him Michael Phelps because now he swims, right? So he's swimming with 8-year-olds on a swim team now. So, and he's 4. So getting this pool is just, I don't want to say it's a necessity, right? Because in 2020, we have other priorities, right? But it would really make my family happy. And, we just love our house and we don't want to ruin where we live. We just want to make it better. We love our neighborhood. We love the mountain and we love our neighbors. And I did talk to our neighbors actually that live right next to us, and another one that lives right the house over, and they had no objections to us getting a pool. And I do want to thank you all for your time, and I appreciate it, and I would really appreciate the approval of this application. So thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Mr. O'Gronic?
Nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, anybody have questions for the applicant? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to open up public questioning for the applicant.
Anybody on the public have questions for the applicant? Larry, raise your hand, please. I see none, Chairman.
Okay, at this point, I'm going to open up the public comment, and I know Christine Weingart asked to speak at the last time, so I'm going to ask her if she has comment at this time.
Sure. Okay. Anybody from the public who has comments on this application, please raise your hand. If you're called upon, please state your name and address for the record, spelling your name, please. And we see Christine. Ms. Weingart, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please
Okay,
state your
hi.
name. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Christine Weingart, CHRISTINE WEINGART. I live at 484 Long Hill Road. We've lived here since 2007. We have a pool here. I believe it was built back in the 1980s. It's large, 20 foot by 40 foot, and it's deep, 8 foot in the deep end. We've had no problems with our wells or anything. It was filled by a water truck. And it's very rare we need to top it off. And we have no concerns about this application being approved, and we're not opposed. We think it should be approved. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Seeing nobody else. Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
no,
We have one more.
There is another one, Frank. Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, she's using an older version of Zoom. Okay, hold on a second. Okay. All right, Miss Stanowski, are you there?
She raised the hand. She dropped the hand, I think.
Well, I promoted her. We can't hear you. Can you connect your audio, please? She has no audio connected. Miss Stanowski, your audio is not connected. We'll just give her a minute maybe to try to connect. It's the same issue that Mr. Bagnara was having. Until they connect their audio, we can't hear them.
The alternate would be to call the number that's listed.
Yeah, you can dial in on the phone. You can dial in the number that's on the notice if you can't get your computer working. The issue is this is the last part of this application, so I don't know how long you want to wait, Mr. Chairman.
Just read out the number that she could call, and I'll give her a minute while I talk.
Right. Let me see if it's up here. Okay, or telephone, you can dial 312-626-6799, or, well, there's a whole bunch of them. That's the first one. 929-205-6099, 301-715-8592, 346-248-7799.
That's enough, I think.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them.
Okay.
With the webinar ID.
Rochelle, do you know this neighbor, Nancy?
Yeah, she's my neighbor that's, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, we can. Yes.
My neighbor that is right, my neighbor, my only real neighbor.
Well, Rochelle, was this a positive feedback from Nancy or negative?
Yes, no, it was positive. She actually told me to leave because a little bit of our shed, I guess, a piece of it. And
excuse me, Ms. Valsalab, hold on a second. Nancy, are you there?
Nancy's in.
Can you hear me now?
There we can. Sorry, Mr. Valsalab, I didn't want to interrupt. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Sorry, the internet up here is fantastic on the mountain, isn't it?
Yes, could you please state your name, spell your last name and address for the record, please? Thank you.
Sure. Nancy Satnowski, S as in Sam, ATNOWSKI. I'm located at 440 Long Hill Road. I am the Valsalavs' nearest next door neighbor.
Great, thank you. You can proceed.
Sure. So we've lived up here almost 20 years. Luckily, no issues with our well. I've had many conversations with Rochelle. We are confident that if the pool is approved, that they're going to take all precautions to care for their well, truck in the water. So as their next door neighbors, we really have no concerns and hope it's approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
See any other members of the public? I don't see any.
I see none, for Mr. Chairman, so I think you can proceed.
At this point, I'm going to close public. Okay, so let me just make my own comments about that. Well,
Frank, could I add something factual before we get into opinions? I think it's important to put this on the record.
Okay, go ahead.
Specifically that this lot, and I'm on both the county and Hillsborough open space and have been for quite a while, but I looked up the adjacent lots. And I want to read you all the ones that are currently owned by the county or township. And these are directly adjacent. This is block 171, lots 88, 87, 86, 89, 90, 91, 94, 95, 85, 83, 82, and 81, lot 7301, lot 77. Directly across Long Hill in block 174, lots 201, 200, and 202 are also all owned by the county as part of the parkland. It's got to be 300 plus acres. So just to put on the record just how how many acres up there in that immediate area are preserved. I just wanted to point that out.
And Frank, before you start, Frank, I think we're okay to move on. You're gonna add some opinion?
No, I was just gonna say, I'm not concerned about the well, you know, when my suspicion at the last meeting was that the original board was worried about the aquifer running dry. And the minutes, I think, support that. And how it got into no pool in the resolution, my guess is that they might have been, you know, they were considering enforcement. The easiest way to enforcement is to say no pool. So I'm totally, you know, feel very confident that if they truck in the water, it's not going to have any problem with that well. So I have no problem with this. You know, and as far as the coverage, since there's so much vacant land around there, you know, should we limit them or let them go with the original proposal?
No, we'll go with their new plan.
Okay.
That's gonna be part of my motion, okay?
Okay.
Whenever
Anybody
you're
ready with discussion by the board?
I agree with the new compromise number and with this additional information we have. I think it's a good application.
Okay.
So anyway, I want to make a move to approve this application with the new updated plan, the 12.9%, that with the relief from the prior pool condition restriction, which was a contradiction with the minutes in the resolution, for the in-ground pool with the condition not to fill it with well water. With the relocation of the shed, that'll be in compliance now. And of course, we don't have to make this a condition, but the son better be a letterman in the high school with that swimming pool.
What about the Olympics, John?
Well, I didn't want to set the bar too high.
You're all invited.
All right. So is there a second?
Second.
I will second that, John.
Okay.
Were there any, and you'll meet all the engineering requirements for grading and all of those?
Yes, to meet all that. And Mark, did I forget anything?
Mr. Stamler, we've been through this before. I don't remember you ever forgetting anything. But I have nothing else on my list. I would ask whether the grading is going to be subject to the typical kind of condition that a grading plan be approved by the engineer.
That's, yeah, that's what I meant,
Yep.
that he would meet the
Engineering,
engineer's
I
requirements.
understood that. Okay.
Very nice
And then-
family.
and
We're happy to approve.
Pool filling, I presume, would mean initial filling and any other filling as opposed to topping off.
Right,
I
other
mean,
than
if
topping
the
off.
pool were completely drained, for instance, for maintenance, that again, the applicant would be required to refill it with Tructian water.
No.
Correct.
Okay. I think I have everything.
Okay. So
Do I hear a second for that motion?
I seconded it.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please, Mike.
Ms. Comfer? You say yes?
Yes.
Mr. Venture?
Yes.
Mr. Woolmacher?
Yes.
Mr. Valchek?
Yes.
Mr. Stamler?
yes,
Vice Chair Haynes?
Yes.
And Chair Herbert?
Yes. Good luck with your pool.
yay,
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Next application this evening is Video and Francine Monaco, file BA 2009. Patrick, would you introduce that, please?
Do you have the Monaco up as a,
Yes, they are. They're on.
okay. Next application is Imbido and Francine Monaco, file number BA-20-09, located at block 151.12, lot 17, otherwise known as 5 Sugar Court. The applicant is seeking to see both variances for relief from maximum impervious coverage to retain an existing patio and walkway, and for a minimum rear setback to construct an in-ground swimming pool with a walkway on a property in the R residential zone. Time of decision 2/28/21.
Okay, so the applicant will be representing themselves, is that right?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay,
So,
so
no, Mr. Chairman.
All right, folks, before you get going, I just need to swear both of you in, okay? You swear any testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
And then just Mr. and Mrs., could you state and spell your name for me?
Francine Monaco, Francine, Monaco, Monaco.
Emilio Monaco, Emidio Monaco.
Thank you.
okay, so tell us what you want to do.
Well, we moved into the Brentwood Hills development in 1998. We had the house built, and we, at the time, the builder put in everything he promised us, and we decided to go with an above ground pool that we had for many years. We are now looking to get an in-ground pool in place of the above-ground pool. And we have spoken with our neighbors, and there's no impact or objection to the pool from any of our neighbors. And that's really what we're looking to get at this point.
Hey, Fran, it's John Stamler. I have some questions.
Yes.
The pool doesn't impact the impervious surface. It's everything around the pool and all. But my question is, what's pre-existing and what did you have permits for, like the patio, and what's impacting all the impervious surface right now that's not on the books?
Honestly, we did not. There was no permit for the patio or walkway.
And who put that in? You guys?
Yeah, actually, shortly after we moved in, yes.
Mr. Chairman, do you need me to share any slides? You think that'll be helpful? We have two things that were submitted, I think, that are on Civic Clerk, right, Patrick?
Why don't you just put up the engineer and the pool grading plan? Go ahead.
What's the current condition? What's the current percentage of impervious surface right now, Patrick? Or
Well, 50% is allowed and 21.10% is proposed.
right, but what do you have there now?
19.4%.
Yeah, so you put in almost 900 square feet without permits or anything, and that's what's got
Back
you over.
98, you're absolutely right.
How much of that can you reduce by?
What can you do with these plans? I mean, to put the pool in, because now you're asking probably, because I had a pool once, you're gonna need a walkway and all concrete around the pool, but we have to come to some sort of compromise here because you're already over almost by 5%.
We won't need a walkway because the pools, we're projecting it to go pretty close right up to the patio. You can see right there in the picture. It's going to go in the same spot where the above ground was.
You have pavers around the side of the house going from the driveway to the back of the house?
Yes.
How wide is that?
2 or 3 feet?
Yeah, just wouldn't say more than 3 feet.
Need that. What's the approximate dimensions of the patio? How wide is it? How deep is it?
Maybe 10 feet or so off the house, 10, 15 feet off the house. It's kind of hard to guess it.
Around the pool, you're going with pavers around the pool. How wide is around the pool? Is it 3 feet?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 feet's plenty. That's up, I'm just trying to come up with some sort of solution to see
Again, the patio is the problem, was the biggest problem.
The patio is huge. And you're gonna go right up to the pool with the patio, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Right, we want to slot it right where, as you see in that picture right there.
How can you cut back the patio somewhat?
Well, I'm looking at the image here, the photo that was submitted in addition to the satellite picture, and it looks like, is the flower bed right in the front of this picture here? Is that included in the patio?
No.
It looks like it is in the drawing.
Well, like that's all like mulch and flowers. That might even, we're gonna need it for the actual pool itself, I believe.
That'll probably be removed, that section there, just be, either grass or
pool.
It depends how close up to the pool, to the yard he makes it.
So the patio currently kind of curves around that flower bed?
Correct.
Yes.
It's like an S.
Well, are you taking any of the patio off to the left of the flower bed? Yeah, over there.
We weren't planning on it, no.
Yeah, that spot right there is really not a whole lot. It goes from right where you are. We can see it right to the left there is bushes, and the yard starts right there. There's not much. You're talking
From the diagram, I can't see the exit and entrances from the house to the patio. How many slides? I guess you have sliders. How many entrances to the patio can you access from the house?
One.
Just that one.
Is it right in the middle?
It's it's across from the flowers.
Correct,
Right.
right there.
Right. So what I'm thinking is your entrance is like on that walkway side, on the side of the house going to your driveway. I don't know if you need the full boat of blockers all the way to the edge of the house to the left. I don't know.
How is this is a question maybe for Patrick, but how is the existing square footage calculated? Is it done off this drawing, or is there some other mechanism for doing that?
To my knowledge, is likely the engineer did it off of this drawing. The applicant can attest to if that's what occurred or not, but that's typically what happens in my experiences with this pool company. They provide an impervious coverage number for the applicant for what's currently out there based on this plan, but I'll let the applicant testify to that statement.
That's correct.
Mr. Gorman, do you know if the proposed filter on the plan is included in the impervious?
Typically, the filter area isn't really, unless you're doing a large slab, we've traditionally have not counted the filter area as part of the impervious.
Yeah, the reason I raise that is because in the drawing, the paver patio on the left side of the drawing, I don't know which direction that is, but I don't know if it's marked north, south, east, and west, but to the left side of the drawing, the patio goes right to the edge of the house. I don't think that's the case, right? I think there's a planting area there. That area from the photo where the rose bushes were is kind of just below the steps on the pool here that's drawn in the drawing, if you can put the hand there again. So I don't know if the current impervious coverage was based on this drawing. It seems like there's a lot more mulch area than there is stone, relative to the way this has been drawn.
That's all mulch area where you see there. All the way to the far left is mulch with arborvitae's, bushes and stuff. And then the other picture you had over to the right where our door is, that is all mulch area there that kind of wraps around the house and along the walkway. That's all mulch and bushes and things like that.
Yeah, I'm looking at a satellite view now.
My point was that the existing patio looks a lot smaller in terms of where the pavers are than the way this drawing depicts it. And I didn't know if the drawing was the basis for the calculation, because it looks like the reality is actually smaller than that.
I would agree.
Yeah, from the edge of the house, like the back door, the slider we were talking about, to the mulch where the roses are. You're lucky if you fit 2 lounge chairs lengthwise. I'm trying to give you an idea, visual.
Right.
From the back door to that mulch where the roses are.
Bob Euro, can you give us a guesstimate from what you can see?
Yeah, I'm going off of the application package where they have the impervious coverage calculation form. So if you look at that, whoever prepared this, whether it was the pool company or the applicant, they're indicating that that patio is roughly 965 square feet. And 965, and you're saying that it's roughly 15 feet from the house to the out. So that's rough. It doesn't make sense.
No, because even with the satellite view, what's in the right corner of your backyard? Is that a shed or something? In the backyard, looking from the house to the backyard, what's in the bottom right-hand corner?
Right there.
Right. Yeah, that's a shed there.
And that's not on the diagram I'm looking at. You getting rid of the shed?
No. I don't know why it's not on the diagram.
Plus the walkway, I'm looking at the walkway that goes on alongside of your house from a satellite view. Does that lead to like a larger area with a big flower pot or whatever that is?
Flower pot, no.
Doesn't it lead to?
Like on the diagram, it looks like the walkway ends right behind your house, but when I'm looking at the satellite, that walkway goes all the way back.
Could you show us a satellite?
I'm looking at 5 Shugel Court. This is 5, right? You're on you're on the cul-de-sac at the beginning of the cul-de-sac, right?
Correct.
I don't understand you saying that the sidewalk goes all the way to the back to where?
It goes past the corner of your house, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
barely.
but on the diagram, it looks like the walkway ends right behind your house, whereas on the satellite, you have like a walkway that leads to like a larger area that either has a table or a fire pit or something on it.
It is a fire
There
pit.
is a fire pit there,
you go.
yeah.
It's a fire pit.
Okay, so it's not only a walkway, you got a walkway and a patio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the diagram, it's not shown.
No, I think it is, John.
It is.
Yeah, it's
I'm
there.
looking at, right now, I'm looking at BA 2009. Which one is this?
Might be looking at the wrong, no, 5 Shugel Court.
August 13th, 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if you want me to, I can bring up another screen that shows the Google satellite if you want. It's up to you if you want me to pull that
Do
up.
that, and hopefully, I have it up myself, and unfortunately, the backyard's in the shade on the version. I bring it up.
All right, let me see if I can get this up there to where.
While you're doing that, I'm also seeing that a lot of other neighbors have pools the same size as is being proposed here, so.
Hey, Marcus Patrick, is this considered an exhibit at this point?
The Google map.
Yeah, I'm, Mr. Anderson, I'm on, this is Mr. Kinsler. I am on, I just went to google.com, Google Maps, and pulled up 5 Shugel Court and put it in the satellite view. That's all that is here. So I don't know if we need to mark it as an exhibit.
I do see it. Difficult to mark because particularly as it zooms in and out.
Correct.
I think you simply need the record to reflect that the board considered the satellite picture. This is indicating it's coming from Google Maps.
Great. So I don't know if this helps the board, but
That's what
here's
I
the
was, and that's
walkway.
that's what I was looking at. And I was matching that to what I have as sheet number 1.
That's true.
And on
But
sheet
that part
number
isn't
1,
shown,
what's that?
I said, you're right, that part isn't shown on the,
That part's not even shown, and the shed's not shown. And
yeah, the
on the
sidewalk.
diagram, and Do you see what
I agree that the shed's not shown, John, but I think if you look at the diagram, where that fire pit is directly to the left of the word prop on the diagram.
Props?
Close.
I think the confusion may be, at least in part, that the right-hand part, that the right-hand part of the house, the walkway going around and back to the fire pit, is in the sun. And then there is a very sharp shadow line, which in essence divides, for the eye, divides that patio into two pieces. But at the same time, if there's a shed and it's to remain, that's an issue. That has to be included. If the board approves a particular impervious coverage, while the applicants may not have gotten permits before, when this gets installed, there's going to be a check. And if the total impervious coverage exceeds, they're not going to get a certificate of occupancy.
Understood.
She does everything herself, her husband.
So, Mr. Chair, this is Bob Euro. Just trying to look at some rough scaling on my computer screen. Calculation for the patio is 965 square feet. It looks like the house is approximately 45 feet in width, which means that patio is 21 feet from the back of the house. Asking the applicant, is that approximate 20 feet out from the house?
I'd say it's pretty close. Yeah, I mean, I would have to go out there and measure, but I would say it's pretty accurate.
Okay. It's obviously the board's decision, but there is not much dimensioning on the pool grading plan to confirm some of the impervious numbers that were put on the calculation sheet. So I'm not sure if it's what, if the board would recommend an additional update to this plan so we can be more sure. Other than if the applicant agrees to eliminate like 3 to 4 feet of their existing brick patio to bring the impervious coverage, proposed impervious coverage closer to what's out there, to the 19.45%.
Okay. Let me ask this: let's say they shaved a foot off the patio. Okay, that would be a reduction of 45 square feet. Is that right?
Yes.
And what percentage of the property would that be?
Give me 1 second.
Also for drainage, where's the water draining? Is it draining toward the front of the house or the back of the house?
033.
Any type of water runoff?
I'm sorry, Mr. Sandler. Mr. Chair, that's only 0.2%.
Okay, so for every foot we shaved off, it would be 0.2%. Is that the minimus, or is that a lot, or is that the minimus, or?
Well, just for comparison, they're asking for 332 square feet of sidewalk around the proposed pool, which is a 1.65 increase to what's on the property today.
Okay.
So, and that includes all of the sidewalk, which roughly looks like 3 feet around the right, left, and rear portion of the pool. It looks like the gap between the pool and the existing patio is greater than 3 feet. It ranges from 3 to 5 feet in areas.
Can you bring the pool closer to the house?
Not without taking feet off the patio.
From the other
Right.
picture, you can see we're bringing it right up to the patio.
Well,
And there's not much.
What I'm saying is, you bring the pool closer, it removes some patio, right?
Well, if you go to the other picture where it shows the patio, the one that you were showing originally where the cutout of the pool, right over there where that little dip is, where the umbrella is, there's not much room there between there and the counter, the chairs and the counter. So you'd be bringing the pool right up to the counter, which I don't think is safe to, with guests over.
From my pictures, I could barely see that particular, right. You built a pretty big fortress there, yeah. Yeah.
So that gravel that we see in the picture marks where the above ground pool used to be. That's the outline of the.
Yes.
Okay.
And
you're looking to put the in-ground pool further back than where the above ground pool was.
No, pretty much in the same spot, and it's supposed to be a little bit smaller than the above ground was.
But that looks like it comes right up to the patio. The drawing shows a larger area there, right?
No, that the picture is correct. It comes right up to the patio.
this is Mr. Euro again. What is the approximate width of that stone? Go back to the picture. Yeah, that's the stone area.
Yeah, I would say that's a couple feet.
2 or 3 feet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say 3. Because if the walkway's 3 feet, this is maybe half of that.
Okay.
In width.
So we're just hoping to drop the pool right in that where you are.
And this is a free-formed pool?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
I know when I had my pool, I never used the side walkway I had from the front of the house to the back. So what's your chances of removing that walkway?
Which walkway?
This one over here.
From the
You
front of
talking
the house, from the
walkway around the
driveway to the back?
You talking about the walk from the front of the house to the back?
Yep.
Yeah.
How are you gonna walk around the house?
You got grass, Frank. I walked in my grass. Plus, you have a door inside the house, right, Frank?
No.
I'm just trying to come up with some sort of solution for these neighbors.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, with the current situation with that large patio, do you ever have any, when it rains heavy, is there water?
No, we've never had issues with water here.
What about well, where's the runoff? Is it toward the back of the house or the front of the house?
Well, it's actually both.
Because
if you look at our house, it's kind of like up on a hill, if you will, from the street. You look up at it from the street and you have water coming down the driveway, and in the backyard, it goes, away from the house.
But does it go into somebody else's yard?
No.
This is Mr. Euro again. Yeah, the existing grading pattern that's shown on the pool plan does show the dwelling itself being at the high point of the property. And as the applicant mentioned, everything in the front of the house flows towards the street, and everything at the rear tends to flow off towards the rear, the 2 rear corners of the property. And it looks like they're going to follow those same grading conditions.
Right.
So that's not going to be much of an impact to the neighbors. It's still going to flow through the grass and everything. The concern is, again, they're looking to increase the impervious by 332 square feet. And that's all with new concrete around the pool. So if there's any way to reduce that concrete and/or reduce your patio a little bit.
I'm good with reducing around the pool, the 3 foot for a compromise. That's fine.
I thought it was just by law that you had to have that. If you
No,
didn't have it, I don't need.
Yeah, the 3 feet is usually the least amount you put around the pool so you can walk around the outside.
But
if you didn't have that, what would you put? Decking?
Well, if it abuts the patio, we wouldn't need to do anything. Maybe some rocks, maybe 6 inches of rocks between the two.
If it made the difference, we could go gravel around the whole pool, like a foot or two, whatever the.
Right, that would save something because what would?
Well, actually, it would save about 300 feet, wouldn't it?
Bob,
Yeah.
what do you think, Bob?
I mean, Well, obviously, all of that concrete around the pool is 332 square feet is what they're proposing as the increase.
That's a shed that's not on there.
I'm sorry, Patrick.
That's the shed that's not on the plan.
Oh, well, that's,
The shed's already existing though, right? No, they have a,
Yeah.
oh, wait, where's the shed?
But it's not on the plan, Chicky.
Yeah, I don't think it's in the figures either.
how
Yeah, but
big is that shed?
I would guess she's
10 by 12?
8 by 10?
yeah, it's like one of the smallest you can get.
Yeah, but it's still not on this sheet, calculation
that's-
sheet.
It's
So it's
probably
either,
about 120 square feet.
well, if it's 8 by 10, that's 80 square feet.
The shed is not shown on the impervious surface coverage calculation that was submitted with the application.
Yeah, that's what I just, yeah.
My suggestion would be remove the 3 feet from around the pool. The shed, that adds another at least 100 feet about. So really, we're eliminating 330, well, for 332, but we're adding about 100 more. Don't have much to work with.
You know, the problem, if we prove something tonight, ever what that is, it's what it is. And
But if we deny it, they can't come back.
they can deny it, they can't come back. Now,
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
and we don't want to do that. So maybe, you know, what I'm thinking is go out, remeasure everything, including the shed, so we know what you really need, and come back with a plan that represents what you really need. Because
Well, Frank, wait a minute, if they're agreeable to eliminate the 332 pavement and put gravel in instead, okay, they've got to add the shed in, which somehow got missed. They're still eliminating, 200 some. The problem is the patio and the walkways that they never got permission for.
right.
Is walking on gravel in bare feet around a pool something you really want to do?
If it's up against the patio, we did it with the above ground pool. We had those rocks there. We just stepped over the rocks.
Can I make a suggestion? What if you eliminated some of the patio around the back part of the pool, just putting like the coping or a set of, one row of, right back there. One row of, so that when you cut the grass, it doesn't get into the pool. I have a pool as well, and we never use the backside of the pool.
I'm good.
Right.
I'm good with getting rid of the whole thing around the pool if we had to. And
Okay, so that'd be 332 feet then.
as opposed to,
No, that's what right. That's what Fran, they said, to remove that 3 foot. They would save the 332.
but the shed you have to include.
Right, then we have to throw the shed throws another,
Right.
you figure that's, even if it's 10 by 10, that's 100 feet, so we're back. Well, let's see, let's still work it. So, okay, so eliminate that walkway.
Around the pool.
Around the pool.
The shed. God, we need shed, what's in your garage? Well, you need a shed.
It's so funny. All you fit in the garage are the cars. You can't fit.
Right.
The pool equipment too, someplace for the pool equipment.
Yeah, and again, if you think it's a 10 by 10 shed and we approve an 8 by 10, 20 feet off, the inspector comes out, he's going to tell you you're over. So.
Google Earth lets you measure, and I came up with 10 by 12.
Right. I figured it was 10 by 12 because it looks like a 10 by 12.
120. No, it's 210 feet off anyway.
Is there, to the homeowners, is there any portion of the patio, that big patio that you have, is there anything, I mean, let's hear from you. Is there anything you guys could shave off of any of your pavers that are around the house or in the back of the house? Is there anything you could think of? to decrease this impervious. You know, right now, you're going for that 21.10. I mean, we want to try to get to 20. I mean, we want to try to help you guys out.
What about the front walkway from the front steps to the driveway? If I made that gravel,
That would help.
That would, you're right, that probably would take care of the shed that's not listed. Bob, you have any dimensions on that walkway?
I do not, Mr. Stanley.
How wide is that? That's 3 feet, you said?
yeah, it's going to be about 3 feet as well.
What if you eliminated the area, and I hate to even say it, but eliminate the area by the fire pit, if you lost the fire pit?
No.
Sorry.
Yeah, let's look at the sidewalk business, see if they can somehow reduce either the sidewalk or the front.
Yeah, if you look at the satellite view, it gives you a better perspective on what that patio really looks like, or that walkway.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. So we take care of the walkway around the pool, the fronts. I guess most people like me, I don't even use my front walkway anyway. We always enter from the garage, but that would at least relieve some, because we still have to add the shed on the plan. So the walkway around the pool, eliminate the walkway in front of the house, add a shed. How about if we take out that garage? I'm kidding. I'm only kidding. Oh, boy. I can't think of anything else. I'm usually pretty good at trying to trim the fat, but if nothing from the patio in the back could be trimmed, it's
So if we can't trim around the pool or the front, or if we do, you still need more, is that right?
No, I don't think so, Joe. Is that what you're saying, John?
Yeah, if they do the walkway as gravel around the pool, that eliminates the 332, but add back the 10 by 12 shed, that adds the 120.
actually the front walkway probably takes care of the shed, Chicky, right? That front walkway, it's probably a trade-off.
Well, and remember, you could put pervious pavers or something that's pervious down in its place.
Yeah.
Right. So what we're saying, Chicky, is they take out the front walkway, right? That accommodates from the shed not being on the plan. So you could consider that a wash. So now we're back to eliminating approximately 332 square feet from the walkway around the pool.
Yeah, and I think that.
And what percentage is that? Is that like 0.6%?
I'm sorry, Mr. Stanley, what?
332 square feet. What percentage of impervious is that?
That's 1.65. That's what they're increasing the impervious by.
Okay.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
understanding.
but we're taking away the walkway, the 210, adding the 120 back, so we're only gaining 90.
What is the front walkway made out of? What's the surface, front walkway?
Pavers.
They're just pavers.
They are pavers, okay.
Now, what if
Okay.
the shed is not on a slab?
What's that?
What if the shed is not on a slab?
Still covered, this is still.
It doesn't matter, yeah.
Okay.
But if they put decorative gravel down for the front sidewalk, that would be attractive.
They're agreeing to removing that sidewalk. They're agreeing.
Did they? Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, so they're agreeing to that.
Yeah, that's
okay.
That's get it.
Just if I can add something, there are 3 large planting areas in the existing patio. There's one just to the right of your stairs as you come out of the house. There's one that we see on the drawing in the photo rather, with the rose bushes it look like.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also one on the sort of the to the left of your, if I'm looking at the back, if I'm looking at the back of your house, it would be to the right of where your counter is and barbecue there.
Yes.
It's all mulch and bushes.
Yes.
Right. Is that area staying mulch and bushes?
We were hoping.
Probably. I mean, yeah, as of now, yeah.
Is the area to the right of the stairs coming out of your house, is that staying mulch and bushes?
Yes.
Staying.
The area that's the rose bushes that we see in the photo, that now between the house and the pool, you're taking that out, right? That's becoming stone.
Right.
Okay. The drawing shows that all of that is impervious coverage.
No.
It says existing paver patio. It goes all the way to the edge of the house. It's a little tiny section here on the drawing in the corner where the stairs are, but it's actually much larger than that in reality. And the existing rose bushes there is not even shown on this drawing. That's just to the left of where your fire pit is.
And the bushes coming out from the left side of the house, that patio line is going right to the corner of the house where you probably have a 3 or 4 foot planting hedge coming off the corner of the house. So
yeah, so my point was that although the area that we see in front of the pool with the rose bushes, that's going away, that's already accounted for in this drawing. But there's 2 other planting areas that are showing up as existing patio on the drawing that are actually mulch and bushes.
That's true.
Oh, okay.
That is true.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, as the board knows, the board needs to approve a specific percentage. And I am foreseeing, it's not my call, but I'm foreseeing that the board simply doesn't have enough information to calculate an exact percentage, whatever that might be that the board might approve. If the board approves even a little less than what the applicant really needs, they're going to have to come back again.
Exactly.
Realistically, the board shouldn't be just taking a shot in the dark and saying, well, it's approximately something. If my observations are true, it seems to me that it would be desirable to get some more accurate drawings, more accurate calculations, include the shed, and get some specific calculations on, for instance, removing the front sidewalk.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I don't know how we can, yeah.
My question to the Monacos, we're looking at that diagram in front of us right now, right? You see that whole area marked where the gate is, and that whole section they have as pavers. Is that true about your backyard when you put this pool in? Is
No,
that whole entire area gonna be pavers?
No, because that's where the rose bushes are, right?
Right, this is, right.
That's what we're talking about.
Right. So that's pervious surface.
So
Right.
that
Area.
So we actually, if we had a proper plan in front of us, we would see where those beds are, which would not impact.
Right, and we'd also have accurate measurements on that front sidewalk, which would come off the total. So, I think we need.
I
some
think
accurate-
right. I think
as well
with an accurate diagram, we be, and with the total square footage of the actual patio as it's going to stand, I think it would really help us getting this application through.
Agreed.
Yeah, the engineer that did the diagram, I guess if he's a pool person, he just wasn't very accurate.
But anything that's not concrete or block helps you guys out. So anything like that.
Yeah, it looks like there's stuff you're not getting credit for on here, like, the plantings on the left side of the patio and that large area next to your stairs coming out of the house.
Not only that, but you know what? If you put decorative stone down, why not eliminate the pavers, the sidewalk, and put down stone, and then you eliminate all that impervious? Yeah.
Well, people
Put
don't
down
wanna-
decorative stone.
They're gonna go swim. They're gonna be swimming, and they don't want to walk on stone.
They'll go in the back door. They're not gonna walk around the front of the house.
I sure the heck wouldn't walk on it.
But John, did you walk in your back door or did you walk all the way around to the front?
Everybody always came through my garage, which has a back door on it, or the,
Well, those are your friends.
So your recommendation to us is we need a different engineering report that is much more detailed and accurate than we have presently.
right. Show us where your planting beds are and the landscaping, because that's taking away, that's adding to your coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We will
And
definitely.
then,
One with the
if you
shed.
agree, keep in mind, keep that front walkway that will eliminate, because you have that shed that's not on record, that's gonna have to be added. And
Right.
that's 120 square feet.
We'll
Oh,
have that
and-
factored into the new report.
Okay, great.
Because we
great.
really want to help you guys out, and
Yeah.
this diagram is not helping you at all.
No, it is not.
Okay,
right.
Patrick, when do we reschedule them?
April 7th. I'm kidding.
You know what? I don't know. Is it going to be, this is pretty quick. You might want to throw them in March. I'll agree to March.
If they can get it ready, yeah, I'd put them on
I
first.
put them first one on March 3rd.
Well, again, if we have harvesters, we have to.
Yeah, I know that, but if we've scheduled 2 meetings, we don't know for sure harvester. This one, if they come in with good numbers, accurate numbers, we beat everything to death. I think they are gonna, work with their numbers and
Right.
it should be a relatively quick second hearing.
If the Monacos come in with their guns loaded, bada bing, boom, we could get this done.
Okay.
Get it done.
And keep
We'll
in
just
mind,
sign the
look,
extension.
So can we go for March 3rd? The first one?
Works for
Mr.
me.
Chairman, the Monacos need to remember that they need to get these things in 10 days before the hearing date.
you have enough time to do this. You have less than 2 weeks to get all this done.
Yeah, it's a pretty tight time frame. Certainly, I hope they can do it, but I don't want them to be misled to think that they can turn in
What if-
revised plans the day before the hearing.
What about the second? How about?
Can
the-
they
the
sign
sec-
an extension now then, just in case?
Yeah, we can, they have to sign the extension either way because their time of decision's at the end of this month.
Oh, okay. Are they willing to do that?
Anyway, we'll make it out to April, just to cover all bases.
Are they willing to do that? Do we have that on record?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, Mr. and Mrs. Monaco, you will need to sign this, but we're just placing on the record that you are willing to sign the extension.
You got it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
This was tough. Yeah, we were trying our best.
Yeah.
Okay, have a good evening.
Thank you so
You
much.
too. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Hey, put this away. So the next.
Excuse me, Frank, do you mind if I just take like 2 minutes, please?
Mr. Chairman, before we do that, let me make sure that we have a clear record here. This is being carried to March 3rd. Am I correct?
Yes, I think.
Is that
Mark,
the
my-
understanding?
Mark, my understanding is being carried to March 3rd and that they will sign an extension so it will cover that date.
All right. If the board is going to continue and the Monacos are not going to need to provide additional notice, that needs to be placed on the record. Is that the board's intention?
Do I need to make a motion?
It is appropriate. Carry to March 3rd without further notice.
Okay, well, I hear a motion.
Motion to carry to March 3rd without further notice.
Second. Second.
Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Frank, I need 5 minutes.
okay.
If there's anyone here who's interested in this application, they should recognize that this will be heard again on March 3rd. They will not receive additional notice. If they've received a mailed notice or they saw it in the newspaper, that is not going to be repeated. This is their notice that it will be heard on March 3rd.
Okay. So everybody take a 5-minute break. We'll come back and take a new roll call.
Everybody should mute yourselves and turn off your audio for the 5-minute break. Thank you.
people to get back.
I'm here.
Mr. Chairman, I'm just going to promote, allow this Debbie to talk. I want to just make sure it's Ms. D'Amico for the last applicant, okay?
Okay.
Debbie, is this Ms. D'Amico? D'Amico? Are you there? Could you unmute yourself?
Hi, it's Debbie D'Amico.
Okay, great, Debbie. I just wanted to make sure. I know I didn't check you earlier. I saw you raise your hand. We'll promote you when your application is up, okay?
That sounds perfect.
Great, thank you very much. So Chairman, I don't know if everybody's back. If you're ready, it's been 5 minutes. If Mike wants to take a new roll call just to make sure.
Like I see all the boxes lit up. Ms. Comfer,
Here.
Mr. Venture,
Here.
Mr. Walmacher,
Here.
Mr. Valchek,
Here.
Mr. Stamler,
Here.
Vice Chair Haynes,
Here.
and Chair Herbert.
Here.
And Mr. Kinsler,
I'm here.
Mr. Euro,
Here.
Patrick,
Here.
and Mark Anderson.
I'm here.
Oh, I'm looking around. I didn't see you. All right. Very good. Thank you.
Okay, so next application is Paul Oram, file BA 2014. Patrick, would you introduce the application, please? Patrick's muted.
Next application is Orem for file number BA 20-14, located at blocks 178.02 lot 9, otherwise known as 17 Alpine Court. The applicant is seeking a C-bulk variance for relief from the maximum impervious coverage to construct a paver patio on a property in the R2 residential zoning district.
Hey, Mr. Oram, I see you're representing yourself tonight. Is that right? Okay, then the court stenographer will swear you in. Mike?
Swear any testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And just for the record, could you state and spell your name, please?
My name is Paul Oram, spelled P-A-U-L-O-R-A-M.
Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Oram, tell us what you want to do.
Well, I'd like to install a paver patio outside of the back of a walkout basement area in my townhome here in the Huntington Park development.
Okay, and why do you want to do that?
Why do I want to do it? Because last spring when we were all enclosed, I was thinking it would be nice to have a little extra living space. I see the picture is up on the board there, but you can see the walkout basement area. Basically the grass area, even though it looks like grass, is mostly mud. It's more patches of grass, so it's not really very usable for anything most of the time. You can't walk barefoot there because it's whenever construction has been done in the place, there's debris buried in the soil from nails and other things that, you know, prevent walking barefoot in that area. So I just thought it would be a nice improvement to have a patio, you know, stepping out that slider door there.
Okay, and where's the patio going to be? I'm looking for it on the drawing.
Yes, so so in that drawing, it's on the top, or now it's on the, I'll wait until you, yeah, so it's on the bottom there. That's the back of the house, the picture that we were looking at. The shaded blue area is the proposed patio, so it would be basically under the deck and extending across the back of my unit to the fence on the right side there.
And it's showing 10 feet by 23 feet, is that right?
Yes.
How big is that backyard? How much grass are you leaving?
Well, the grass is again, if you want to go back to the picture, the grass extends all the way to the common area of the property. My property line there, you can see, extends. And I was surprised to learn this. And I want to thank Mr. Gorman for actually recommending for me to get a new survey, because I didn't realize my property line is actually behind that fence. It's about the fourth slat in from the outside of the fence. So my property is, yeah, just a portion there of that grass. And the rest of the grass behind the photo here is all common area of the association.
do you have any association rules that prevent you from putting this? I mean, Patrick, I don't even know what the rules are. I thought there was association rules that sometimes prevent you from doing things like this and clotheslines and all that stuff.
I believe that Mr. Orm obtained a permission from his HOA already to place the pool. I mean, at the pool, my apologies, the patio at the back of the property. We usually get that as part of the zoning permit process. If this were to be permitted outright, just to make sure that there's already permissions granted, so we don't run into any conflicts with the HOA.
Yeah, John, we have it. It's dated July 7th,
Right.
2020.
Yeah, that was when I started planning this. Like I said, the thought popped into my head last spring. I'll mention that the association manager is actually enthusiastic about it. I saw it earlier. People were looking at Google Maps, and you can see in the building that I'm in, all of my neighbors except for the one right adjacent to me all have actually concrete patios on their units. So that improvement was there. I think that might have been, and I'm just guessing on this, part of the offering of the original builder, because those concrete patios of my neighbors look kind of old.
Hey, Paul, where's the water runoff, Paul?
The water runoff is behind. So again, in the photo, it would be behind my back there in the photo. So, and I actually checked this today because I saw on the letter from Mr. Euro and Mr. Gorman that, you know, there were questions about the stream encroachment line. So I went out and checked, and it's about 40 to 45 feet behind the end of the fence there. There's a, it's not really a stream. They call it a stream. It's dry most of the year. It's more of like a runoff
Is
area.
that
Again, if
the water's going to be running that way?
it would, yeah, it would be, if I'm looking at the back of the house here, it's from my right to my left. So it goes to the left of the picture there. Yeah, towards Royce Brook. In the plan, I don't know, I have my plan here. Yeah, the north side of the house. Royce Brook is on the north to the left side of the house there. So that stream that they're talking about runs into Royce Brook.
Oh, okay.
From the back.
Got it. Okay.
Was the sidewalk installed at the time of the construction?
Yes, that is part of the original development.
So the footprint of the house was slightly over, and then if you added the sidewalks, they were
They were over.
They were over already. And you're saying all your neighbors, or a lot of them, have concrete patios?
All of the neighbors in my building do, except for the one right next door to me there. And again, I can't say for sure that they're all original, but at least a couple of them look as old as, I've been here for 22 years, and they were there when I moved in. You know, my neighbors, I know all my neighbors, so.
And you have the end unit, right?
I have the end unit, so I actually have an extra four approximately, I think it's a little over 4.5 feet of space on the end there that was included in my open space that my neighbors don't have. So they're actually, you know, their footprint of the neighbors covers.
Yeah,
so your property.
I see all their patios now. Yep, they're all across. Yep.
So what does your next door neighbor has? That's a wood deck?
That's a wood deck. Yeah, it's ground level, or it's actually above the elevation of his sliders though. So if you go on his deck, you actually have to go down a ramp to go into his sliders. I did consider that, but he said that that ramp gets slick as ice when it gets wet, and it seemed not ideal. The wood, you know, to me is susceptible to insects and rot and animals living under there. I know the animals live under his deck. I've seen them go in and out. So
yeah, no, there's a lot of area out there for the water to run off and soak into the soil. I see that.
Yeah, and this property is unique because it is an end unit.
Right, and you got the side and the back. It looks pretty good for drainage.
Okay, any other discussion or questions from members of the board? In which case, Fred, just open up to any public questions?
Sure, anybody from the public have questions for this applicant? Please raise your hand. I see none, Chairman.
Okay, so
Frank, you want opinions? Looks like a good application, Frank. Good drainage. I don't see an issue with this. If you're ready for my movement on this, I'll go ahead.
okay, so you're gonna make a motion?
I make a motion to approve this application.
Complying with all the engineers' comments and recommendations.
With all the recommendations and comments from the engineers and approvals.
And because this is a unique, it's an end property and so on, I'll second that.
Any discussion on the motion? In which case, Mike, would you take a roll call?
Ms. Comfer,
Approve.
Mr. Vincher,
Yes.
Mr. Woolmacher,
Yes.
Mr. Valchek,
Yes.
Mr. Standler,
Yes.
Vice Chair Haynes,
Yes.
and Chair Herbert.
Yes. Look what
Good
your
luck, Paul.
patio.
Okay, thank you.
You're not gonna put a pool, you're not gonna put a pool in, right, Paul?
No, if whoever's looking at Google Map can see the association clubhouse is right across from me in the back there next to the stream, and they have a huge pool right on the other side of the.
Good, no pool.
there.
I see it now.
Okay.
Have a good night, Paul.
Thank you. I thank the board again, especially Mr. Gorman and his office staff for helping me with this.
Welcome.
Yeah, they don't get thanked
You're welcome.
much, so good job.
Thank you.
Okay, so last application tonight is Stacy and John Macchiarelli, if I'm pronouncing it right, file BA 2017. Patrick, would you introduce it, please?
This application tonight is Macarelli, file number BA 20-17. Property located at block 204, lot 7.10, otherwise known as 196 Fairfield Lane. The applicants are seeking a C-bulk variance for relief from a maximum impervious coverage to retain the existing, expand the driveway, walkway and patio, and construct an in-ground pool with a patio and walkway. The property is located in the RA Residential Agricultural Zone. Time of decision 3/15/2021.
Okay, so I see that you're representing yourself tonight. You also have an engineer, but since you're representing yourself, I'll swear you in.
Hey, Patrick, what's the percentage that they're looking to be approved? Total percentage?
Getting my report out now.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, right now, I think they're allowed 14. I don't know what they're at now and what
They're asking, they're at 16.1 and they're asking 18.3 according to the back of
Yeah,
their.
so let me go into this a little bit for a second to provide some clarification. So this development is known as Laureldale. It was approved many years ago. Back in 2006, our former township engineer, board engineer, Bill White, was doing some additional calculations at the request to make sure that something that was being proposed, what was the actual impervious coverage that could be done in this area, as other improvements in this area were not completed. He determined that it could be 14%. Now, there's nothing that ever came as part of a site plan or any official approval or any official change to a resolution document that actually confined this into what it is, or nothing that was done by committee to say that this has a special thing. So this has been on the impression from the board engineer that the properties in this zone can handle at least 14% impervious coverage. I should say so, in this development can handle 14% impervious coverage, but the underlying zone percentage of 10% still exists.
Mr. Chairman, I think it's important.
We're a little bit above it already, and we're asking for a little more above that, up to 18 points.
Great.
Mark, were you saying?
It's important for the board to recognize the legal implications of this. As Mr. Gorman has properly indicated, that there apparently was an opinion by the previous township engineer about what the infrastructure will support, but the zoning remains 10%. The board members, at least most of those who've heard me before, know that the board is obliged to accept as proper the zoned impervious coverage, that is 10%. A suggestion that the neighborhood generally could support 14% is, if that is a consideration for the board, that really is an improper consideration. The reason is because C variances require either hardship or planning reasons to show that the properties are not simply like all the rest. An assumption that the neighborhood can be or should be zoned for 14%, even though it's not, is contrary to that. It is treating all the properties in the area as the same. That is the antithesis of a individualized variance. So the board has to assume 10% is correct. My understanding is that the current percentage is 16.1, which, as far as I know, is not explained by any previous permission, and the applicants are looking to increase beyond that.
Okay. So let's get the applicants sworn in.
How's it going, folks? I might as well swear in the applicants and their engineer at the same time. That makes sense.
Okay, that's it does.
All right. I'll do Stacy and John first. You guys swear any testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
We
We do.
And for the record, could you state and spell your name, please?
Stacy Maccarelli, STACY,
And John Maccarelli, JOHN, MACCHIARELLI.
Thanks. And I'll just swear in Debbie. Debbie, do you swear any testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And for the record, can you state and spell your name?
Deborah D'Amico Engineering. It's D''AMICO. Do you need my address?
You're in Somerville, right? I walk by all the time. Thanks.
Okay, so tell us what you want to do before you hand it off to your engineer.
So we moved here in September of 2017. We have not added anything to our property. We purchased it as is. This house was vacant for many, many years prior to purchasing it. And we actually were lucky enough to buy it from a contractor who recently flipped it. So we were lucky enough to get a flip purchase. We've continued to maintain and give our property a lot of curb appeal, actually, where the neighbors walk by all the time and they're complimenting me all the time on the shutters look great, the lighting, like we did little solar lights outside there, everything looks great. We love what you're doing with the house. We want to continue to improve our property so that it fits nicely into the neighborhood.
So Stacy, you didn't put in that huge driveway that's sucking up all of your impervious, okay.
We did not, and I don't know if we would have, considering how much it's going to cost us to plow the thing, so.
But you do know that you're legally responsible for what your prior owners have done.
Well, yeah, we understand.
Yeah.
But
If I may interject for a second, one comment about the driveway. There was a zoning permit for a large driveway on that property back in, I believe, 2001. The numbers that we have at that time, though, do not match what we have today. So I'm not sure where the discrepancy came from. Either we got some bad numbers in the past or something got expanded. I can't confirm either or.
Well, Patrick, is the 4,044.27, is that accurate?
On the plan that they provided us on the
Yeah, on
numbers?
the calculation sheet.
That's the calculations that they are providing us as part of the relief that they are requesting as part of this application.
Okay, was it originally, if anybody knows, was it originally stone and now counts as 100%?
I had it on my plan, on the plan that I was provided to me, it was a mixture of brick, asphalt, and paver material.
It was all impervious, so it doesn't matter what it was gravel, no, it's no impervious.
Yeah, it's a shame because
Well, I know it doesn't matter now. I was just trying to figure out how it got there.
it's actually
what it
double the footprint of the house. It's a shame.
Yeah, yeah.
They grow with age.
it's not going to be fun to redo when we have to maintain that.
Oh,
How about taking some of it out? How about taking,
Right,
Take-
I would plant sod.
Yeah.
take some of it out. That would help.
Yeah, I don't know if we can do that right now. I think the
All right,
neighbors would Is that what that?
Well, but I noticed that your neighbors, you're about the only one that has, I think, a U-shaped
No,
driveway.
there's like,
There's a few.
there's like 4 or 5 actually,
On our
right within the first section of our block. 1, 2,
Oh, why is
3
your
with
first-
us, and then
Hold
3
on,
on the other.
I'll share a Google screen just so, you know, for
Yeah, there's a
reference.
lot.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's-
there's 3 houses before you get, you're right. There's 3 other ones. when
Oh,
you
yeah,
get-
Chicky,
there's a
Chicky,
lot.
here's their house, and there's 1, 2, 3,
There's a couple more before
4
that.
right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 is the first one.
Okay.
You should note this as an exhibit.
This first one is, yeah.
Again, this is for the legal purposes. This is a Google Maps rendering of Fairfield Lane.
And all the ones I'm seeing have pools.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Here,
Yeah. Well, 1, 2,
Here.
3, the first 3 on the right.
here.
They're larger lots.
Okay.
So hey, Bob, right now they're at 16.1. They want to go to 18.3. I'm looking at the calculation sheet, but maybe we could cut to the chase. What is the 2.2% increase? Where is that coming from?
That is 1,003 square feet of concrete, but I would let Debbie testify to that as she prepared the plan. I believe that would be the concrete surrounding the pool.
And that equates to 2.2%. Okay.
2.1% increase, correct. Just roughly 1,000 square feet. But again, I would let Debbie testify as those calculations seem to be pretty well delineated on her pool grading plan.
Okay, before we get to Debbie, then let's, if you're finished, I'm going to ask Fred open for any public questions. For this.
Wait, I have one more question. Who put in the current walkways and the patio? Were they in?
Oh,
there?
everything was there.
They were in most of them.
Everything was? Okay.
That patio or the walkway that goes throughout is stepping stone. So a lot of it is actually grass right now. And you can see from pictures that are from the photographs that I took.
Pat, does that count? Patrick?
If you put the collection of stepping stones together, you create an impervious surface. So it may not be as big because there's, gravel in between, but once you put a vast amount of stepping stones together, you create an impervious surface.
How large is that brick patio way out in the right hand?
No, that's actually
That's a wooden deck.
a wood deck.
Oh, that's wood. Okay.
Yeah, that's wood.
Darn, I was gonna say, just eliminate that and.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
wood.
Now, I don't know if this helps, but the stepping stone walkway going through the property, when we were talking to the pool builders, they said most of that is going to be eliminated when they dig around it to do whatever. So a lot of that's going to come out when the pool goes into place.
So when you're ready to talk about the impervious surface, I can walk through all of that.
Before we jump to witness, I just want to, everybody's finished with their questions, so we need to open for a public question for the applicant. Fred?
Okay, anybody from the public have any questions for the applicant at this time?
Okay. Nobody's there.
Seeing none, we can move on, I think, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Yes, Debbie? Yeah.
Okay, so
Explain who you are so we know.
okay. So I'm Debbie D'Amico. I'm a professional engineer. I'm licensed in the state of New Jersey. I've been before boards in Hillsborough before, so.
Okay, so we accept your qualifications.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Debbie,
Okay,
if you want, I'm sorry, this is Fred Kinzel from IT. If you want me to share certain screens, just let me know. I'll pull them up, the ones that you've submitted, okay?
Sure. So there was a question regarding the difference between the survey and the plan that I submitted and the impervious surfaces on that. So I really want to walk through that a little bit, and that'll explain what every surface is. And if you pull up my plan, that would be a great one to look at.
Is this the one, Debbie?
Yep, that would be the one.
Okay.
Okay, so looking at it, the house for both is impervious. That's 1,955 square feet. The driveway is the 4,427, and that includes both legs of the circular and the return back to the garage. The front porch, that's the little stoop at the front with the steps. That's 65 square feet. And then the rear, what I call the rear walk, that is 88 square feet. That's the little bit of brick at the, yes, the rear corner there. And then the rear stone, that is the entire pathway from the deck all the way out to the back, to the fire pit that's out there, and the, it dead ends at a garden, like a flower bed. Yep, so that is, and that's the stepping stones. And that is included as, on my drawing, it's 635 square feet, and that's not on the improved lot coverage on the survey. That's one of the differences between the two, and that's 635 square feet. And that's the entire thing, assuming it was solid. I didn't go out and measure each and every paver. And then the rear patio is the entirety of the brick patio. It does not account for the hole in the middle, which is the fire pit. So it's a little bit, it should actually be a little bit less. That's 327. It's actually 324 square feet. There's a typo on my plan. It's not 327, it's 324. So that,
so with the addition of the pool, you eliminate some of that walkway, right?
right, so the walkway, the rear stone goes down to from 635 to 327. And in my calculations, I just chopped it off right at the pool. Reality is you're going to lose a little bit more than my calculation. But I wanted to be, because we were coming in today for a variance for coverage, I wanted to be conservative. This is what we need to build it out at most. If we're under, great, everybody be happy. But I don't want to have to come back and say, oh, we have an issue. So I chopped it off right at the pool. There'll be less on that rear stone number than the 515 that I have left. That number will likely be less than 515. But again, I didn't want to have to come back and have issues later. And then regarding the pool area, this is the pool with all the bells and whistles. My understanding is that there has not been a final design. Again, the pool company wouldn't go into details without knowing that they're going to actually get a contract out of it. Cost them time, cost them money, but they were kind enough to sit down with the Maccarellis and come up with a plan that we could bring to you and say, this is what we want. So if the price is right, the Maccarellis will go in and request the pool company to design this pool. Nothing bigger. And that would be all the bells and whistles. And again,
all that spotted area, that's all concrete.
Yeah, it'll either be concrete or pavers. Again, it depends on the budget. It depends on what actually comes out. It could be shrunk down. The pool might be made bigger, but the square footage that I show is the maximum that they would want.
Right, because I see if there's any type of wiggle room to decrease, I'm assuming that's the sun deck area, right? Where I don't know how wide that is from the pool to the edge.
Okay, so there's from the circle, that's the sun deck area.
Yeah.
That's 8 feet that I show to the over by the walkway. We're taking out the walkway. Perfect.
Oh, that's 8 feet there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So over on the other side is definitely a larger area where you could put a table, a couple of lounge chairs to be out there watching the kids while they're in the pool, and not have to be up on the deck. Again, this was all the bells and whistles. This was everything in their wish list.
I think if there's any place to save, it's going to be in that area there. I mean,
correct.
I'm a prior pool owner, so I know exactly how much you need for lounge chairs and on. That's pretty abundant there, yeah.
Yeah. So and again, I was coming in with, this is their wish list. If they could have everything they wanted, It's not out of size and scale of the neighborhood. Their lot is one of the smaller lots in the neighborhood. It drains to the rear of the property. Behind the property, there's like a swale on the neighbors. See that wooded line? There's a swale that drains one lot over. There's wetlands. So it drains to the back and then over to the, where's my north arrow? To the east to wetlands. So actually, if you go back to my plan and look at the location map at the bottom, you can actually see the wetlands. Okay, so you can see that, right, that little corner there. So in the, yeah, right there, that green at the upper right corner, that is the wetlands.
Approximately how big is that? Can you give us a guesstimate?
Acres, many, many acres. It's huge.
It extends quite a bit east of what's shown in that photo, Chicky.
Okay.
Ms. D'Amico, Bob Euro.
Yep.
If we can go back to the proposed site plan, Ms. Kinsler. So the stone walkway that it's out there today at 635 square feet.
Yes.
It's being bisected by the pool. Obviously, the impervious is always a concern. Would the applicant be willing to remove that entire, since they're only patio paver blocks and they're stepping stones? If you remove that entire length, you're also eliminating another 515 square feet of pavers, impervious coverage. Where I'm going is right now, your net increase is 1,003 square feet of new impervious over what's on the property today. If you were to eliminate the additional rear stone, you're going to cut that down by another 515 square feet. So you would have a net increase of 485 square feet of impervious coverage. Then if the concrete around the patio is cut back slightly, you're getting close to maintaining closer to where the existing coverage is today. Just a suggestion.
So I'll let the Maccarellis address whether or not they're willing to take out that stone walk, and how far back the, again,
And
this
they
is
could
their
put,
drain.
when we say take it out, they can put gravel in its place, something like that. Yeah.
I mean, I would feel comfortable taking the stone. I would really like that amount of concrete around the pool if possible. But for that, I would be willing to take the stepping stone walkway out.
Yeah, but John, what I'm looking at, right? I'm looking at the pool, and again, I'm trying to compromise to see if we could get you through this.
I got you.
You got 8 feet. 8 feet's a good distance. What if from where, I'm assuming that's like a hot tub area, right? Built into the pool?
That's a sun shelf.
Okay, right from the edge of that going left, if we make that 8 feet, and of course it won't be squared off, but it'll be 8 feet and then make 8 feet, you could trim off a lot of fat right in that area, because 8 feet is plenty of room for lounge chairs and everything else.
We really would love to keep that amount, only because we want for proper parental supervision. I can walk all the way around the pool. We want to allow for proper safety and maintenance, as well as to support enough.
What's the width on that, Bob? I mean,
we want to just
width?
support enough seating for our entire family as well, like a table out there with some nice fire pit maybe. So
yeah, but what are you going to do on that deck that you have next to the pool? You're not going to have a table and entertaining there and dinner?
yeah, but yeah.
And especially if the real percentage impervious should be 10%, and you're at 16 right now and asking for almost double the allowed impervious, help us out here.
I'm calculating
well, if we're
at
willing
least
to remove
16
But if we're
Can I-
really
if I
willing
can
to
finish.
remove the stone walk, we almost get to break even.
Now, if I could finish, that's almost 16 feet, Bob, if I'm not mistaken. If I look from that concrete from edge to the pool, that looks at least 16 feet.
That's possible, Mr. Stanley, but again, I would defer to Ms. D'Amico. She would probably be able to open a CAD drawing and tell us that. But even if you cut that back by, let's say, five feet by the width of the pool, which is close to 46, let's say 40 feet, that's another
30 feet.
200 square feet.
Yeah. Right. So you're looking at almost 30 feet. You're trimming off 5 feet, right? That's 150 feet at least.
Let me ask you another question. That brick patio always in the back, what do you use that for?
That's a fire pit area. I mean, it's a paver like fire pit that came with the house.
Okay, so
That's wood, Frank.
and where I'm going with this is, is that more important than keeping
I mean, if it meant me keeping the pool the way it is on the plan, I would remove that as well.
Okay.
But it does say brick patio. Isn't that wood?
It's paver stone.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
It's 327 square feet according to the impervious.
Yeah, I thought somebody said it was.
How much is it, Frank? What was that for the fire pit?
327 according to the impervious calculation sheet.
For the fire pit part?
For the patio always in the back.
So,
Oh, okay. All right. That's what you're calling the patio. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Bob Euro, so if the applicant, again, the net increase is 1,003 square feet of impervious coverage. If the applicant was to remove the remaining 515 square feet of the stone walk and the 327 square feet of the brick patio, which contains an existing fire pit, your increase would be 161 square feet of impervious coverage as opposed to 1,000 square feet. So
Okay, Bob, what would that percentage be? That would be what, 16 point something?
it would be 0.3%. So your increase would go from 16.1 to 16.4.
That sounds good.
That'll work. That'll work.
Yeah. Yeah.
This way you got a nice big party area outside
Yeah.
that pool.
That's kind of what we wanted, is ideally to get this fire pit kind of in a more useful spot. So if we have to, we remove that one and move it.
So remove that, right. So remove the brick patio, remove that walk and the stone walkway. And like Bob says, it brings you to 16.4.
And we're basically break even to where we're at now.
Close to it.
Sounds good.
Right, you're 6.4, right, okay.
Now, keep in mind, if this is approved, it's going to be approved as 16.4. Are you sure this is accurate?
I want to just double check those numbers.
If you go up to 17, that'd be great.
Round it off.
Mr. Chairman, as Mr. Miko's looking over the plan, something earlier that I picked up in the conversation that the applicant stated that their property is one of the smaller properties in the neighborhood.
It's not the smallest, but it's one of the smallest. It's on the smaller side.
Okay.
Of the ones in the neighborhood for
I
sure.
think we have like 1.12 acres.
It's right here.
Sure. So
Right
for the
there.
board, for the board's consideration, the RA zone requires a minimum of 2 acres under its current standard.
Oh, wow.
Oh, what was that comment, Patrick?
Yeah.
Oh,
can you hear me?
I didn't hear the comment.
Hear me now, John?
Yeah, go ahead, Pat.
Yeah. So, John, obviously this was developed under a certain development standard when it was done years ago. It's currently in the RA Residential Agricultural District.
Right.
The minimum lot area in the RA is 2 acres. So this lot's only 1.066, just over an acre.
That's what the planning board approves back in the day, right?
What Mr. Gorman is saying is that this is a pre-existing non-conforming lot, sometimes referred to as grandfathered.
And are many of the neighboring, are they up to 2 acres?
Yes.
Some of them. Next door's not.
Next door is not, left and right are not, but across the street is, behind us is.
And you have sewers and public water?
Correct.
The 10% limit makes more sense than with a 2 acre minimum.
Yes.
Yeah, we're still waiting for calculation. Hello.
So I got 16.48%. So can we call it 16.5?
Okay.
Did you say 10.5?
You're bad, John.
Too late for that.
16.5.
Okay, I didn't open for public questioning for the last witness, so Fred.
Sure. Ms. Gulliford, do you have any questions for this? Seeing none. Seeing none.
Or statements.
I see none, Mr. Chairman. You proceed.
I gotta close public then. We always forget to do. Okay, so board discussion. Okay, so any more questions from the engineer or
Nothing further from me.
Patrick, yourself?
Nothing from my perspective.
Okay, Mark, do you have any?
No, I looked at Mr. Euro's report. I do not remember whether he had any other recommended conditions, but I'm sure he can tell the board.
I would just ask if Mr. Miko, if you would be willing to provide the necessary details in further detail that I've shown in my letter.
Yes, the only question I have is if we're reducing it back down, do I have to address stormwater management?
No, you do not.
Frank, with that said, I move to approve this application for 16.5% impervious, which includes removing the patio in the back, which is the 327 square feet, removal of the walkway in the back, that is approximately 515 square feet, and also provide our engineer any details needed.
Including an updated plan?
Yes.
Whatever Patrick and the engineer needs, correct.
Okay, do we hear a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion, further discussion? Hearing none, okay, roll call, please.
Gotta unmute, Mike.
Ms. Confer?
Approve.
Venture?
Yes.
Mr. Woolmacher?
Yes.
Mr. Valchek?
Yes.
Stamler?
Yes.
Vice Chair Haynes?
Yes.
Chair Herbert?
Yes, good luck with your pool.
Good luck.
Thank you so much. And I do want to thank the town. Patrick and Deborah at the town were awesome with all their help and questions that I had. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Enjoy. Have a good night.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Bye.
We're near the end of the meeting, and so just what's coming up. I think we know what's coming up in March. Just go over again, Patrick. We may or may have a harvester.
So yeah, so harvesters March 3rd. We had that tentatively scheduled. Then we moved the Monaco application for that evening without notice, and then 0 New Center Road is moved to that meeting also with notice.
Wait, which meeting, Pat?
March 3rd.
Oh, he's moved only if harvester drops out, though.
Yeah, yeah. That was conditional.
So if harvesters goes, and I'm sorry, you're correct. If harvesters goes, then they're moved to the April meeting.
No, well, I think we were still going to do Monaco, weren't we, in March?
No, we're still gonna do Monaco first.
Right, yeah, in March?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But the second one will be April if we're doing harvester.
Correct.
Yeah, well, you can't approve a conditional carrying of an application, but it's carried to the 3rd. The board simply needs to carry it further if it is not intending to reach it that night.
Yeah, did you get that, Chicky?
No.
I didn't get it either.
You always have to carry to a date certain. So it was carried to March 3rd. If it cannot be heard that night, the board simply will have to, on March 3rd, keep it on the agenda and carry it further.
I got it. Okay.
Did we make a motion before in that regard, or?
We already made the motions, and
We already made the motion. It's forks poked in that already.
Okay.
Real quick, who were the two first and second at the last application?
What?
The last application, who made the motions to approve?
John and
me, I think, right? Or was it Jim?
Yes, John. Chicky.
John.
the usual
Chicky.
suspects.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't know. Jim, I think it was Jim got in there.
I tried to get in there, Chicky, but you're too fast for me.
No, well, no, I think I heard Jim's voice, so, you know.
I think Patrick got confused because every now and then Chicky's voice sounds pretty deep.
Okay, I'm going to ask for a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All right. All right, Jim, way to get in there.
Those in
All
favor?
right.
Take care, everyone. Have a good night.
Aye.